Alright, so this is the drawing that the comment that I'm responding to was made for. The guy on the left, science. My evidence is right here for all to explore and discover. The guy on the right, faith. My evidence is absolutely nothing, therefore I win, and I get to act offended when you doubt my nothing. The guy in the middle, on the right again, says, who said anything about winning? And here's my atheist shirt that my friend Deb got for me. Feel bad I haven't really worn it because in this town I'll probably get lynched, but probably not. What happened was I wore my Evolve shirt to the bank, and the banker lady gave me this really nasty look for the next several months because of it. Anywho, the comment that I am responding to from over at DeviantArt says this. I disagree on this idea that faith and science are mutually exclusive. I'm intensely religious and not spiritual either, full-on religious, and I'm a huge supporter of science. For me, science answers all of the intricate hows through biology, chemistry, physics, astronomy, etc. Faith answers the more esoteric whys. People think it's a matter of either the earth functions through molecules, cells, elements, etc., or the earth functions because of God, gods, etc., wills it so. Why can't it be both? Why can't one believe that their deities is or are the greatest, foremost scientists or scientists, creating the very same theories and sciences that we study today? I don't know, but I don't see things in black and white. That said, I fully respect people who aren't religious, and their right to be. But it's when people think of me as less evolved because of my faith that I get frustrated. And similarly, I realize that your drawing was aimed at religious people who refuse to acknowledge any science at all. So I respect their beliefs too, but please know that they don't represent religious people as a whole. My response. Disclaimer. If any of this comes off as insulting to you, please know I took painstaking care in writing this and making sure I did not insult you personally or any honest religious people, but only the mindset of religious thinking and faith as a general topic. If I come off as insulting, I apologize, but I do not insult anyone but dishonest scam artists and the ideas that they are pushing. Science has ruled away all the things that were once considered the responsibility of every god and every spirit we've ever created. Anytime a spiritual claim was put to the test by science, it has failed. The only place any of that can exist is before the Big Bang, because there's no physical evidence left after that in our natural universe to show that supernatural forces affect us at all. If so, it has to be somewhere we cannot see it, cannot experience it, cannot call on it in any consistent way, and cannot prove any claim made about it. And must honestly suspect any person who would promote this kind of thinking. Not because every spiritual person is dishonest, because they're not. Not all spiritual people are dishonest. They're mostly just tricked. But just that spirituality allows for dishonesty and abuse to cultivate and thrive. It's a broken system based on the mood of the person talking, because it can never be experienced beyond mental hiccups and projection that people mistake for powers or spirituality, and therefore it can never be proven. It's a guessing game of playing pretend with minds that don't agree with each other because it's all without facts, and belief in the absence of facts and evidence is the exact opposite of science, which is why it's called faith, which is why faith is required. It's a socially harmful mindset to encourage people to believe in invisible forces that control everything, not only the ones that come from books that contain unpunished bigotry, Bible, Quran, etc. They open people up to be victimized by lower-intentioned people who pose as speakers for these invisible forces without having to prove themselves, and guiding these people's minds in ways that they might not have naturally gone. That alone should be enough for everyone to be suspicious of those who push for faith. While I will never break into someone's house or church or temple or shrine to tell them or force them to stop praying or believing, I will not ignore that encouraging the idea of improving forces only allows a safe haven for conmen and predators. All safe places for conmen and predators must be eliminated if we are ever to reach a more healthy, caring society. And this elimination can only come via education, showing people that what their religion really says, and the real-world harm faith-based thinking does to real-world people. We won't resort to the religion-endorsed violence. We oppose all religions that ever encourage violent reaction. It's kind of our thing. which is required, the violence that is required is added incentive, since the reasoning to have faith always fails when tested every time. Or at the very least, these tests show that things will happen positively and negatively at the exact same rate as if there was no spiritual intent anywhere in the universe. And if the universe already acts like there's no spiritual part of it, why would I believe humans who want to tell me that there is, while asking for money? Yes, not all believers want money for belief. Many genuinely believe and have been convinced, despite reality being as it is, because it's more comforting, or their parents shamed them too much for questioning things when they were kids, which is the biggest cause of the religious mindset and religious tension and faith-based harm against other people caused by the faithful, since it's a form of child abuse and teaches kids to be arrogant about their beliefs because their parents acted arrogantly when they were questioned about their beliefs. When child abuse becomes a required method of convincing people religion is true, it's time to just throw it all away like silly Santa Claus stories and grow up, you know? YouTube is telling me that my video is disconnected, but the time is still going, so I'm going to assume that you can still hear me. Like I always ask, why do good, kind people promote the most evil of gods imaginable? When they can read the Bible and see how evil he is, as described through his actions, which oddly don't speak louder than his words. Because preachers can't sell their product by selling evil parts of the Bible, I know that, I guess. But it's just beneficial to all society to be honest, and faith by definition is not honesty. It's an ego claim that has no basis, that almost always turns out with negative consequences. You just said you were religious, but didn't say which religion. If I didn't touch on your specific religion, then it's likely because your version of a god or gods haven't set out mandates against non-believers and gays and Jews and women, and don't have books promoted currently as perfect, infallible words of God. And I won't tell you to stop believing, but I will hope that with the info I'm providing, that someday your brain will work it out on its own. That's why I'm so vocal. Some of the most vocal atheists today started out as the most devout Bible-thumping Christians who only decided to research what they thought, what they were supposed to believe, often going into pastoral study, and only ended up finding all the reasons atheists are so vocal against it. I was never religious. I was always an atheist. Again, I'm not forcing you to stop being religious or to stop having faith if you feel you need it. I'm not trying to insult you by criticizing religious stories that you did not write. I'm only interested in the facts, and in sharing them in hopes I get people to think about what faith actually does and about why people continue to support it once they've seen what faith does to people. Because I know most of them are much kinder than a lot of religions want them to be. I mean, because I know believers, the faithful, are much kinder than a lot of religions want them to be, and a lot smarter than most of their religions need them to be. I'm just trying to point it out to them that their religion does not match what they agree with, what they feel about life. I just want to show people the real universe is amazing enough as it is to keep gods and things for entertainment value only, in order to evaluate the changing psychology of humanity through history as it was trying to figure itself out while knowing so little. Now that we know so much, we have absolutely no need for faith. No more need to support the idea that just because a large group of people feel something makes it true, such as having faith that gays are evil or black people should only be slaves. You may not have faith in those ideas yourself, as any kind person shouldn't, but your support of faith allows those who do believe those things, who do actual harm to real living people, to go unchallenged by others of faith, without those others of faith seeming hypocritical, because they're both using the same excuse for what they're doing, faith. And that's where we atheists come in. We don't have a faith system that cripples us from finding the actual truth instead of someone's interpreted stories and guessing. So fighting that is not hypocritical for us, but it is necessary to help show people how science unites. Science has proven there are no inborn reasons to discriminate. Only the harmful or helpful actions of everyone involved are the things that can be judged. And faith clouds that far too much for me to ever be able to agree with it. I respect you because you seem respectful, and that's all I require of a person. The internet is where I get to externalize all the silences I've had to put on myself in public just to maintain positive social situations. Though I do not respect faith itself, there are many other reasons to respect a person. So in personal situations, it's just another trait I happen not to relate to, like, say, someone liking Harry Potter instead of Lord of the Rings. Give me Gandalf over Dumbledore any day. But there's no disrespect for the fans of Dumbledore. I just personally am not attached to the Harry Potter story as much as I am the Lord of the Rings story. There are many other topics of life to discuss and celebrate, and hopefully, once everyone is educated and gets rid of religion, we can all just focus on that and make words like atheist and religious absolutely useless and pointless and meaningless. That's the point of atheism.